You're listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 122, Glenn Hughes, Play Me Out bonus tracks. And coming to you from the tornado-threatened suburbs of Chicago, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Twitch and I Matola.
Twitch and I, are you suffering from anxiety?
I don't know, but my my right eyelid has been twitching for over a week. So I'm either stressed, over caffeinated, or I have a neurological disorder.
Or all three. Or two out of three.
I don't know.
I've had that
really
happen for
annoying.
like a number of days before. And it's like at first it's like whatever. And then after a couple of days, you're like, I would really like this to stop.
Oh my God. Like I'm talking to people today at work and they're just like, do you have a headache or something? And I'm like going like this with my hands. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get it to stop. I'm like putting like one hand. They're like, are you okay? Are you like upset? And I'm like, no, my eye won't stop twitching.
So if you're watching the video to this and see John rubbing his eyes, he's not upset because of the lack of heaviness in today's episode. He is merely trying to get the twitching to stop.
Oh my God. Maybe this will help. Maybe a good old dose of Glenn Hughes will help.
Glenn Hughes. Yeah, maybe if it just hits that right high note, it will resonate with the frequency of your eye twitch and just it'll stop.
Well, we'll soon see.
We are under a tornado watch right now.
Oh boy.
And there's a tornado actual warning, meaning the clouds are spinning about a few miles north of us. So if you hear a sudden alarm go off from my phone freaking out from the tornado warning, and then, my family might be joining us in the basement for the rest of the show.
That'll be interesting.
Want to listen to Glenn Hughes. And,
that'll be a Deep Purple podcast first.
Exactly. And hopefully my house is not destroyed. It's been a very weird day. Like going outside, the temperature was like 90 degrees. And then I went back in my office for a little bit. Then I came outside, it was like 80 degrees. And then I went back and it was 90 degrees. It just kept fluctuating like wildly from being really humid and hot to being like breezy and cooler and just up and down all day. We had crazy thunderstorms last night. So
is that I'm sorry if I'm, kind of ignorant about it, but is that the kind of weather pattern that's, like just brews up a good old tornado?
I mean, I guess so. I know whenever there's thunderstorms around here that the conditions could possibly be there for a tornado, but
oh boy,
I still feel new to the tornado world, having only been here for about 8 years. It's still a new phenomenon and not a welcome one.
Well, hopefully, you get as lucky as you did last time, and it comes next door and then just goes away, or maybe not even, maybe like 100 miles away. That'd be nice.
Exactly. Yeah, let's hope that, or let's hope nothing touches down at all.
That would be nice.
Who knows, right?
So speaking of touching, and it doesn't have to do with anything, but there is a kind of a funny story that I want to tell.
Okay.
So I have been, spending a lot of time with my family, my two nieces who are small, 7 and 3. And so we went to the beach over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And, my brother was leading up the front.
I saw the pictures. Yeah. I saw the pictures.
Girls were in the middle.
Did you, it looks like you gave your brother all of your chest hair. Did you do like a locks for love sort of situation? You just shaved your chest hair and gave it to him and just kind of added it in.
Yeah, I don't do chest hair. That's a fun fact for everybody out there. But yeah, the girls were not in that picture. Not pictured them. It was my parents, my brother, and I in a Facebook post. Mm-hmm. But we went in. My brother was in the front. The girls were, and I was bringing up the rear. carrying some of the stuff. So as soon as
bringing
we
up
got
the
on,
rear, touching is involved. I don't know where this is going.
oh boy. So, so as soon as we get on the little pathway to the beach, as soon as we get on the sand, they want to take their sandals off, right? So 7-year-old kicks off her sandals. And by the way, they're just like, I mean, you have kids, they're just kicking them off, just walking by, leaving them for me to pick
now
up.
there's somebody else's problem. They're just here. If I ever never see them again, I don't care. Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
So the little one is in front of me, the 3-year-old, and she's about like, how big is a 3-year-old? Like waist high. So she wants to take off her shoes, but she doesn't want to kick them off. She wants to like, pull up, stand on one foot, pull one off the other one. So she needs some leverage. So she turns around, grabs my package with one hand, lifts up her foot, takes off, just very nonchalant, doesn't
like
even
a strap
care.
hanger in the subway.
Exactly. So I'm just standing there and I call out to my brother, well, would you look at this shit? He turns around and he just like, he loses it. And he's like, yeah, I'm just about, I mean, she needed something to grab onto. She didn't care what. And then I was then just kept walking and I was there to let, just left to pick everything up.
Yeah, little kids are like that.
Oh my God. They're freaking hilarious. But that was a first. That was a first for me. I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
I
have had that phenomenon happen to me as well with my kids. They're just like, oh, no problem. That's just, a thing. That's just another, it might as well just be a pull for a drawer in a cabinet or something. It's anything. It just doesn't matter. It's there. I'm grabbing it.
Yeah. Anybody that I've told the story to, who has kids, it's just like, yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, the story checks out. Oh, so, my goodness.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh my goodness. Well, hey everybody, if you want to support stories like that and the Deep Purple podcast, which go hand in hand, why not do so a number of ways? First of all, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It's simple, it's easy, it's free, and it brings us so much joy and helps new people discover the show. You can buy some merch at our Etsy store, which, oh my God, I have to talk about. So we got, I get these emails when we sell some merch. I get an email that says, oh, you've got a sale and here's the who to send it to. And I print the label and I drop it off at the post office. Simon Ford, the good old Simon Ford from the UK, who converse with social media, mostly Facebook, I think, purchased a mug. And let me tell you, the shipping to the UK is insane. So the amount of money that Simon Ford or anyone from the UK who has bought a mug that you are like, I looked at the receipt and I'm like, holy cow, paying like 3 times as much in shipping as for the mug.
Oh my God.
So that's just dedication. And, listen, we don't ask anybody to, I mean, we say it, I guess, every show, but I don't expect anyone to actually buy a mug for that amount of shipping, which is crazy. Domestically, it's even domestically, it can be a little pricey. The shirts aren't quite as bad, but wow. For someone to put that in their cart, I'm sure many people put it in their cart and then gone to checkout and been like, oh no, thank you. I changed my mind. And no, I wouldn't fault anyone for doing that. But the fact that he actually went through with it and made the purchase shows a real dedication and a real want to support the show, and wrote a very nice note about thanking us for getting him through the the quarantine and all that sort of stuff. Was the note that we've gotten from so many people over the past year and a half anyway. So thank you, Simon, for the purchase, and anyone who's purchasing this stuff, because I know I tried to make the price on the actual items, very reasonable, which it is, but the shipping, we're not looking to make a fortune on any of this stuff. It's just want to have it out there if people want it, but the shipping is a real killer when you're going overseas. So Simon, thank you very much. Appreciate it. So that's one way. At our Etsy store, we have mugs and t-shirts. As I said, you can become a patron on Patreon or PayPal for as little as $1 a month. You can help support the greatest podcast about Deep Purple that is out there. We really do appreciate it. Thinking of our patrons, we do have a patron upgrade.
Woo, hey-o.
Richard Fusey upgrading to $7 from $6.66. So Richard, thank you so much. And I'm not sure when that change went through. I emailed him, but I didn't hear anything back before we were recording. So thank you, Richard, for doing that. We really appreciate the added support, and as well as the support from our executive level patrons coming in at the turn it up to $11 tier, we have Clay Wambacher, Frank Teelgard Mortensen, Alan Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and Mikkel Steen. At the $10 Someone Came tier, we have Steve Seaborg of NameOnAnything.com and AllTheWorldsAstage.net, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Gerald Kelly, and Victor Campos. Thank you to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. We really appreciate it. And then talking about Apple Podcast review, we have a new review. This one comes from, hopefully I'm saying it correctly. It's from Jazz and says only a nickname. Coming in from the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. 5 stars. Covers every possible detail of the DP extended family and is perfect for a diehard fan such as myself. Started off listening to Deep Purple Rainbow episodes, but quickly caught on to the other stuff, which is also great. P.S. Listening to the Whoosh revisiting made me realize that And the Address is actually played a half step lower than the original. The original is an E minor and Whoosh version is an E flat minor. Did not pick up on that. So thank you for the note. Keep on doing what you're doing, guys. Jay. Well, Jazz or Jazz, or however you want to pronounce it, thank you so much for writing in and your very kind words in the review. We really appreciate it. And then final bit of housekeeping. It's looking less promising every week, but we're still on for the Dead Daisies as of now, September 11th, 2021. But every day that passes here in our area in the States, it's looking worse and worse as far as there was just yesterday, there was like somebody posted I think I sent it to you, as like a collage of like 8 different tours and shows that have been canceled because members of the band or members of the entourage or the things shutting down, or people are canceling out shows in Florida because Florida right now is on fire. So we don't know.
I know,
kind of up in the air.
Backwards here.
So we'll
I
see,
hope
guys.
not. I mean, in both of our workplaces, masks are back.
Yep.
So, I mean, for employees, and I mean, it isn't a lot of places, but I mean, it's like when it starts to come in waves, and then you hear stuff like this, and then you see the news, you start to, get a little like, So, hopefully it's not as bad as we think, and we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Whether whether the venue cancels, the Dead Daisies cancel, we decide to cancel based on what's going on. Well, don't know. We'll have to wait the next couple of weeks and really see how it plays out. Hopefully, you can still get over here. If not, if it turns out to be a real pain, maybe you can postpone the flight to a time when it's 3 years from now when we're through this.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, I still have a credit for another flight that I had booked that was canceled, that I canceled like, right before like everything
was that for that Kiss
shut
show
down or whatever. So yeah, that was the one in
you mean like March or something?
Biloxi.
Yeah,
March.
Oh,
Biloxi. Like literally like watching the news like day by day, not knowing what was going to happen or how serious it was or anything. And then it was like, well, and so I'm like, all right, so I still have that airline credit. So, what's another one floating around, right? For
what is it,
years.
like 18 months later, now we're going to be doing the same thing with this, which is very disheartening.
Well, who knows? I mean, if you, like I said, if you'll still have me over there, we just like hang around on the deck and listen to Deep Purple.
Exactly. With my kids nipping at our heels. But
yeah, we'll record some episodes.
Maybe you can come here and review the Dead Daisies album or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. Very disappointing. But anyway, we are here this week, probably a shorter episode. We'll see. Who knows? To review Glenn Hughes' Play Me Out bonus tracks. Now, I think we teased it at the time. Our review of Play Me Out was back in episode 27, so almost 100 episodes ago that we covered the Play Me Out.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like that long ago.
That long ago, huh?
Seems like it was like.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. 27. Holy cow.
27. Crazy. Yeah, so we kind of went through the whole Deep Purple chronology up until the band broke up in 76. And then we kind of touched on every member of Deep Purple up until that point in their first solo outings And Glenn Hughes was episode number 27. So would have been I think Come Taste the Band was episode 20 or something. So we never got into the bonus tracks. We kind of generally as a rule on the show, try to review the album in their original form, not as the re-release or remasters or anything being including tracks that weren't on the album, bonus tracks, all stuff like that. We just try to keep as it was released at the time it was released. So anyway, so during 1974, if you look at there's a expanded version of this. I have kind of the original connoisseur version, which I believe is from 95, which comes like this. It looks a little different than the record. It's only got the one Glenn Hughes head instead of the other sweaty head on the looking to the side that they have in that one. So you got this, and it's
that's the one I got. Yeah,
the original tracks, and then it's got 5 bonus tracks on it, and we'll get into those in a little bit. So in 1974, Glenn Hughes met David Bowie. This is a big thing. We talked about it way back then, and he lived with David Bowie for some amount of time, and then Angie Bowie, who was I think David Bowie's wife at the time, told Hughes that David had seen him at California Jam and wanted to meet him. That's how they kind of got together. So Bowie was interested in how Glenn Hughes got into Deep Purple, kind of getting to know him, knowing that he was more of an R&B singer. And Bowie was present with the recording of Hold On during the Stormbringer session. So he was there watching Glenn Hughes do the vocals of that. So they had this kind of relationship. Hughes says they were inseparable for the summer that I believe of 74. And then there's a special edition 2 CD version of this that theorizes in the liner notes says that this could have been or almost was a David Bowie Glenn Hughes collaboration. So think of Hughes Thrall, but Hughes Bowie. Bowie's in space.
Wow.
You ever watch Flight of the Conchords? There's a great episode. I think the episode's called David Bowie. They do like a great David Bowie they have like kind of dueling David Bowie impressions. And they do a song called Bowie's in Space. Bowie's in space. Which is perfect, right? Space. So Play Me Out features a lot of, we reviewed this already. He had lost his girlfriend, his girlfriend left him at the time and ended up getting together with John Lord. They of course go on to get married. Because becomes brothers-in-law with Ian Paice. So a lot of the songs on this album are about his relationship with, is it Jackie? I think it's Jackie that was with Glenn Hughes. Let's see, John Lord. I think it was Jackie. Vicky. I'm sorry, Vicky. Jackie is Ian Paice's wife. I'm sorry. The twins, I get them mixed up. Twins, Basil, twins. So they. He writes this album, a lot of heartfelt things about losing his girlfriend to John Lord. And then, it's very, we talk about how incestuous the musical relationships were in the band. There's also the intimate relationships were kind of incestuous. You've got Vicky leaving Hughes to go with John Lord, and yet you've got Tommy Bolin's girlfriend leaving Tommy Bolin to marry Glenn Hughes, like all this kind of intermingling going on. So it wasn't just the music that was that they were collaborating on. So Hughes joined back up with Mel Galley and Dave Holland and Trapeze for a little quick US tour that just kind of immediately fell apart, and that was going to kind of lead into a new studio album that never happened. But Galley and Holland, as we talked about in the episode, they played on Space High, they played on LA Cut Off, so there's some kind of Trapeze bubblings up happening on the original album. So if you want more about the whole album and want to hear a review of that album, go check out episode number 27. Just keep scrolling back on your podcast listening device or app until you get to episode 27 and check that out and listen to that episode. You get all up to date, and then you can listen to this one. We'll wait. Okay, y'all caught up? Great. I hope you enjoyed that episode.
There we go.
That was a great episode. I love that one. Okay, so things with Trapeze fell apart, and then Hughes puts his effort towards the solo album. So here we're going to talk about this solo album, and we're going to talk about there's 3 songs Well, Smile was recorded. The first song was recorded. Well, you know what? We'll get into it when we talk about the actual songs. So with that, are you ready to fire up a song?
Space.
How about Smile?
Smile.
Smile.
That sounds creepy. Smile.
Creepy.
Yes.
Smile.
Yes, right. I am ready for these Hughes bonus tracks.
All right, well, here we go. And for some reason, we get the same issue every time, which I can't figure out, which is that it doesn't want to let us screen share. But then when I stop screen sharing and then start it right back up again, it works. Very strange. All right, so the first track is a track that was recorded at the same time as this album, and that track is called Smile. Now, this is the only version of this album I ever really had, so I always listen to this as a whole. So these songs are part of Play Me Out for me, to other people who grew up with this album when it first came out and then had to wait 17 years until this came out. These might sound newer, but to me, these were always part of the album, even though the last two songs were recorded in the 90s, and you can really tell. I didn't even really realize at the time until I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, those kind of sound sonically different. But anyway, this track is the only one that would have been recorded in 76 or 77 for the album, and that one is called Smile. So you can see how this kind of would fit in really, really well with the.
I like this.
It's very mellow. Kind of reminds me of like Spanish Lover or something. It's just that it's like makes you feel like you're on the beach, tropical drink.
Oh yeah.
I love that. It's like doom 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 doom. It's very faithful to the Play Me Out, like wacky, weird arrangement. Very like stream of consciousness. It's almost like I mean, obviously you can't, but it's almost like he's making it up as he goes along. Like, I'm going to go to this new part. I'm going to go back to that part. It's not, the album's unlike any album that I've ever heard in that respect.
I haven't heard the album in a while, but I like the fact that his vocals are dry on this. Because I remember the review, I did not like how his vocals were recorded or
there was
produced.
A lot of processing
and I mean, just like we got like the, you got the funky bass in the background. You got a little jazzy guitar underneath there.
Yep.
It all fits together really well.
And I wonder who would have been playing what on this particular song. It's a very noodly guitar part. It almost makes me think Glenn is actually playing that.
Maybe.
It doesn't sound very galley. It doesn't sound structured enough. I like it. I like that he's just kind of in the background doing a little noodly stuff. It suits the song well.
See, usually a song that has like not it doesn't have a structure that you can grab onto is like, I don't like it, but I like this because it's got such atmosphere.
Right. What's the
like you said, you can like kind of kick back and just like enjoy the vibe of it.
I might be getting this wrong. But the feel of this song reminds me of I think it's from the Ace Frehley solo album where he's like, "Sure, baby." You know what song I'm talking about?
No.
Like a song where he's like, it has like a very similar feel. He's like, sure, baby.
I think you might be thinking of a different album.
I don't. Well, maybe it's a different album. Maybe it's a Kiss song that Ace sings where he does that. I just remember hearing it on Pot of Thunder and thinking it was hilarious. He's like, sure, baby.
I don't know.
No. All right.
You might be getting the line wrong. It must be something.
I don't think I am. I'm challenging you on Kiss knowledge.
Yeah, well, you didn't go sure, baby. Like, what is it? Like Austin Powers?
He's like, sure, baby. He has like a really weird way that he says it.
Well, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I know. Is it the one where he goes, I don't know?
No, isn't that Torpedo Girl?
Yeah.
I don't think, well, I don't know. I don't think it's the same song.
No, yeah, I don't think he said sure, baby.
Sure, baby.
I mean, unless like I know so much about Kiss that I'm forgetting things about him.
Could be. Okay, I'm texting Nick right now to see if he knows.
Yeah, it's bothering me now.
Hopefully we'll know by the end of the episode here. Okay, so Smile. I think that's it's weird that they would choose to just not put it on the album. It seemed like it would have really fit with the rest of the style of the album, but I do have a ratings sheet open for this. Do you want to give these guys ratings, or what do you think?
Yeah, let's rate away.
Smile. John
Right,
just smiled for those of you listening to the audio feed.
Yeah.
For the 98% of our listeners who do not watch YouTube.
Okay. Oh, where is it? There it is. There it is. Up there. All right. Smile. Well, I'm going to give it a smiling 4.
All right.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't heavy?
I don't know, Nate. I mean, I had to wrestle with my conscience here, but
for people who are concerned about John not liking anything that's not heavy, I'll have you know he was very excited about this week's episode about diving into some Glenn Hughes. So,
well, because I like funky too.
Yeah, don't be fooled.
I can like a drink on the beach song just like the next guy.
Sure.
But yeah, I enjoyed it for all the reasons that I said when we were listening to it. It's just it's got a cool vibe to it, you know. I like it. It's like something you'd like put on in the background and just be like, yeah. So.
Well, you know what I thought when I heard you say 4?
What?
I thought, sure, baby. I'm giving it a 4 too.
Oh, I gotta know what the hell this is.
I know it's killing me because I don't know what the hell song it was. I know he says sure, baby, and it's hilarious. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think it creates like there's a definite I like songs that create a vibe like this and are just super laid back, and it doesn't do anything crazy. There's no like crazy instrument, but there's like a lot of, like I said, like a lot of noodling and stuff going on. That's really interesting, but there's nothing like, oh, and I mean, Play Me Out is kind of like that in general. There's not like there's so much going on musically, sometimes a little too much, but it's really interesting. But there's never like a lot of points where you're saying, now we're gonna have a huge extended solo or anything. There's just a real focus on. And we commented before too, if you look at the lyrics sheet for a song on Play Me Out, it's like 6 lines. It's just him riffing through most of it, and he does the same thing with the music where which I'm postulating that's him on the guitar just sliding up and just adding these little flourishes the same way he would do with his vocals when he's like, I don't have anything planned, but I want to record a little guitar here, and that's what I'm going to do. So great stuff. All right, Smile. So the next track up on the bonus tracks is track number 11. This song is called, are you ready? I'm trying to stall because I can't open the file. Okay, it's called Getting Near to You. don't know why these screens are blank like this. You know what? I can't take it. I can't take the fact that that screen is blank. I'm going to.
I was going to say, I know what Glenn Hughes looks like.
I know, but we need to be reminded. He's a sight to behold here.
It wasn't. Yeah.
If you do this here. Okay, yeah, I know. Thank you. Technical, yes. Move them to the recycle bin. Get out of here. What? It won't let me do it. Okay. Skip, cancel. Why is it not doing this? This is really weird, guys. All right, so we need to. Are you having any luck finding the Shore Baby thing? Have you been frantically?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been looking. I mean, he's got a song on a solo album called "Speeding Back to My Baby," but he doesn't say "Shore Baby" in it.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first too.
I'm wondering if it's like one of his more recent albums, which I'm not as familiar with inside and out. Like, I mean, I've heard them, like, you know, like the ones that he's released over like the past, like, you know, 10 years, but maybe it could be that.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's a classic. Yeah, I can't imagine it's anything on a classic album because I mean, I would instantly know.
Yeah, that's what I would definitely think you'd be on top of that for sure. Okay, there's something wrong with this stupid thing, so we're just gonna have to look at a. I usually have this stuff all set up in advance, but
it's not okay.
Working. It's not working for me. So anyway, here we go. As we stated before, oh my God, did I close this folder? I'm a mess. We haven't recorded in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I've forgotten how to do this. This is how it always happens. You need to stay in practice.
You're rusty, Nate. You're rusty.
I am rusty. All right, getting near to you. Oh. So this a little bit more of a disco vibe. This song was recorded in '78.
Oh yeah, you can tell. I think the song is great. I've always liked it.
Yeah, great chorus.
I know you like that.
Always great. Ooh.
Oh yeah, just all the classic like kind of disco tropes in there.
And it's like, I love it. It's like it fools you into thinking after a minute and a half that the song's already over. It's like, wait a second, is that it?
But I mean, I just love this like kind of like classic, like straight ahead, like late 70s disco chorus right here. He just goes for it. And it's really catchy.
Get some hand claps in the background.
And his singing is good. The bass is good. And just like you, this and the other song, like the bonus tracks were part of the album for me when I was listening to it, because I just listened to them all together. Right. So
it wasn't until more recently that I picked up on the last two songs. I was thinking like, wait a second, these sound much more polished and much more new. But I never knew the album any other way. It's like it's tricking you again. And then you get that flangey guitar just strumming. Yeah. Like, just kidding. claps almost sound like car wash. It's that same like big, small room, dry sort of sounding claps. If he had gone a little further down this road, or maybe had it a little bit more together during the late 70s, early 80s, I think he could have been a disco sensation.
Oh, easily.
And again, with one of those sort of atypical sort of arrangements. He's got these two weird little things where it sounds like the song ends and he brings back in that flangey guitar. Really. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, Getting Near to You. What do you think?
Well, I hope that you're not going to revoke my heavy card. You're not going to take it away from me when I give this one a 5.
What? Oh my goodness!
You almost choked on the air you were breathing.
I'm glad if I was eating. If I was eating food, I'd be a dead man right now. John would be calling 911 from 1,000 miles away.
If you were wearing a monocle, you would have just dropped it. Oh dear!
Mustache would have spun around.
I mean,
I do say,
if you were a wealthy dowager, you would have fainted. Oh,
yeah, where's my fainting couch?
Oh,
got a case of the vapors.
Get some smelling salts.
5. Oh my goodness, Getting Near. Yeah, it's a great song.
I mean, it's like, here's the thing that, like, I don't probably haven't talked about it a lot, but on the show anyways, but when I was around this age, or we were getting these albums, so this was like a mid 90s release, so,
95.
So when I was
we probably got it right around when it came out, right? Sounds about
so
right.
I mean, when we were in high school, I was really, when you're in high school, you're into retro, and retro at the time when we were born was the late 70s. And like, even though I was like really into like heavy music, I still liked poppier stuff, and I was really, for a time, like really into disco, and I thought
that some of it was to prove it. You had some satiny butterfly collar shirts, and
I had some wild clothes to reflect that.
Gotta dig up some of those photos.
If I can, they got to be somewhere. I had the big hexagon sunglasses, the big Barry Denon sunglasses, and
you just turn to the camera.
Well, that's who I was modeling myself after. I thought that the 70s were the coolest, and it's like, I mean, I liked heavy music, but I mean, I also liked 70s hard rock and disco. Also, like just like later on, like in the like the early 2000s, I got really into like dance and house music as well. I mean, even though my core is like still like hard rock and metal and like stuff like we listen to, the thing that I thought that it all had in common was just the music had just like dynamics. Like it really, it's something grabbed you. It wasn't heavy, but it was catchy, and that's what this is like. It's good playing, and it's catchy, and it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to have like crunchy guitars or be fast paced or something. It's just music has to grab you. And I mean, it could be jazz, classical, like, whatever, disco. I mean, a good song is a good song, so, and like I said, a lot of that stuff, really grabbed me and, painted a picture or whatever. And I mean, this song is just like, now listening to it for the first time in a while anyways, I mean, you can tell that like all of like the hallmarks of like, kind of like quote unquote classic disco are there, so it's like, I think that, marketed right, it could have been a hit.
Yeah. And I think that
dance floor classic,
the production on it is it sounds like a little straight off tape, a little warbly, not super well. The production is probably fine, but maybe it's the mix or whatever it is, but it just doesn't sound quite ready for prime time. That being said, the song itself and the way it's done is great. It just doesn't sound quite as polished as some of the other stuff. Okay, I don't. Nick responded to the text, but I don't know what he means.
Maybe he's checking on it to.
He's checking his archives.
But back to the song. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, that's probably why it was an outtake. Maybe it wasn't polished up enough. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe if it had been done again, or maybe on that 2 CD redo that I really should probably pick up from my archives. Maybe they do a better mix of it or something, but it's I mean, I really like the song. I don't think I can go all the way to a 5 for this one, but I will give it a solid 4. I think it's a really great track. I love the whole feeling of it. The whole atmosphere of it is just, it's great. It's a great feel to it, and can't say enough good things about it.
Nice.
All right, coming in from Nick. He's got Ace Frehley, A Little Below the Angel, Anomaly.
Yeah, from Anomaly. Yeah, I knew it had to have been from one of his recent albums. I think Anomaly was like 2010, so it's like I'm not as familiar with that album, so I wouldn't have known offhand.
All right,
like his last few albums, like his new string of albums that he started releasing in the recent years. I mean, I've heard them, but I mean, I don't know them inside out like classic Kiss, you know.
I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Sure, baby. I'm telling you, it's great. It's great. All right, well, before we move on, I would like to recognize and thank our core level patrons in so many tiers now, so many tier levels. We're gonna have a tier for every penny amount. So at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat tier, Michael Vader. At the $7 No One Named tier, which I just named it because he didn't respond with a name yet, Richard Fusey. So if you have a different name you want for it, Richard, let us know. If not, it will remain the No One Named tier. At the $6 episode $6.66 tier, Richard Fusey, Steve Coldwell, and Arthur Smith. And at the $6.65 Almost Evil tier, Kenny Wymore. At the $5.99 Nice Price tier, we have Fielding Fowler and Dr. Jill Brees. And at the $5 Moneylender tier, Greg Sealby, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Allman, Oleksiy the Perfect Stranger Slepikov, James North, Mark Hodgetts, Kev Roberts, Will Porter, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, and Tim Southern Cross Johnson. And at the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardeau, Ian DeRosier, Mark Roback, Anton Glaving, Andrew Meyer, Duncan Leask, and of course, Stuart McCord. Woo! Pretty soon we're going to have everyone in the core level is going to have a different dollar amount. We're going to have to move some of them down to the foundation level because it's too many to, it's getting to be crazy. I love it. I love the
Nate's going to need some help here. He's going to need some help reading this stuff off. He's going to have to give some of it to me.
Yeah, we're going to have to switch off or something. Just so I can have a breather. Okay. So
like after reading that, you're going to do that thing like what's her face did in like Flashdance, you know, just go like pull the lever and the water comes down. It just won't be quite as after reading.
It won't be quite as enticing a scene with me doing it. with my my t-shirt on and my big flabby belly. All right, thank you. I'll turn the chair around backwards. Is she in the chair backwards? High heels. All right, thank you to all of you. Really appreciate it. Okay, so the next one is, this was recorded in the same session as Getting Near to You at Axis Sound in Atlanta, March of 1978. This track is called Fool's Condition. Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's just slapping that bass.
He's abusing that thing. I love it, like just hitting the whole note chords in the piano and you go,
But you know, you hear some of these songs and you feel like they could be like a soundtrack to like a late 70s movie, you know? Like you could easily see this being you know, in the background of like a 70s show, a 70s movie, like you know, the intro or the intro theme music or the outro theme music or something under like a love scene, something like that.
It's just a dingy, dirty kind of song. That's what I love about it.
And what I really like about these songs too, I'll comment again on Glenn's vocals, is like I just really like that they're not as saturated as the final product of the actual album. Like I like it when his natural voice comes through. Because I mean he's talented enough where he doesn't need to like saturate it in like, you know, reverb and delay and all this other whatever else he had on it, you know, flange, who knows.
I really don't remember this sounding as unpolished as the rest of the album. Probably because it just wasn't focused or thinking about it at the time.
No.
Yeah, he's got more reverb on the snare on the song than he does in his voice. I really wish he had a full album follow-up to Play Me Out. He didn't release another solo album until like the mid-90s.
I mean, honestly, I think some of these songs are just like better than what I remember the album being.
Songwriting wise, some of them could be better, sure.
I mean, I remember I know that I kind of like, you know, ragged on the album a little bit for certain things, but I mean, overall, great stuff.
Wow. Fool's Condition. That's what a fool believes. All right, what do you think of Fool's Condition?
So I think it's another strong one. I'll give it a 4.
Fool's Condition. All right. I will also give it a 4. I think it's great. I love just how just down and dirty those two songs sound. Particularly this one just sounds really just dank and dark, and you know, this reminds me of like just seeing like a movie filmed in New York in the mid to late 70s, the big, you know, steam coming out of the manhole covers and everything. Just paints that like New York City at night feeling for me, even though it was recorded in Atlanta.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. No, I was thinking the same thing, you know, it being in that kind of like late 70s, you know, montage of like, you know, that something like that was kind of like coming through my head, you know, that image or whatever. But also, I mean, the quality of the songs is like, I mean, anybody that knows me knows that, like, you know, I like, I never liked the finished product as much as I like demos and outtakes of songs, because I like that more raw feel, which is what these have too. So, I mean, if these are in fact unfinished or less polished, I think that might add to the charm of it for me.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite like kind of albums are have that quality to it. One that really jumps out is Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know if I know
All
who
of a
it
sudden get
is.
super loud by you. Like a super John's like looking out the window like real suspicious. Is she out there with her Mr. Bill doll?
No, there is a fire truck outside my house right now, and it probably has to do with that beeping that I wasn't looking into in the front hall.
Like you start to see smoke billowing in the side of your screen. I'm not
Well,
yeah. I mean, was that on the episode or before the episode? It was before, right? John's like, there's a beep out there. I ain't checking it. It's not my problem. And now the fire truck's here.
I probably should have prefaced it by saying that it's been going on since I got home from work. So, I mean, if the building was going to have burned down, I would have smelled it or been engulfed in it already. So
yeah, John's place is on fire. Mine's being swept away by a tornado. Hopefully we'll get this episode out to you. Okay, so yeah.
the thumbnail will be like me like on fire, you being like swept away like the Wicked Witch of the West riding the bicycle. What a disaster.
All right. Yeah, so what was that? All right. Yeah, so that ends the 70s era portion of these bonus tracks. The next two tracks were recorded at Glenn's home studio on DAT, digital audio tape. So you'll hear these were in 1994. So right before I probably recorded and said, well, let me throw these on there. Oh, I'm sorry. What I was saying earlier, talking about albums. So Jeff Buckley, great guitar player, absolutely incredible voice, beautiful, died super young, tragically, 27, not even drug related. He drowned. Horrible tragedy. But so they posthumously released a double CD called I think it's called Sketches from My Sweetheart the Drunk, and it's all like unfinished demos and stuff like that. And it's just, I always loved that even more than his studio albums, because you hear these things in kind of their really raw form. He talk about Glenn Hughes having an amazing voice. Jeff Buckley, just wow, just a voice that was so powerful and so haunting. And just hearing him singing these songs, some of them it's just like literally just him kind of like clumsily playing a guitar and singing, and you can tell, oh, he had no intention of ever finishing this and releasing it, and maybe he wouldn't like that idea, but it just it invokes such a it's got that such a raw feeling to it. It just makes you connect. It makes me connect with the music a little bit more sometimes in that case. As much as I love production and good sounding stuff, you get to hear him in his absolute purest form, and it's really interesting. But anyway, the first of these two home studio recordings is called Take Me With You, and you'll hear a noticeable change to the audio quality here. Again, having kind of that home demo style to it, playing a little horn patch on the keyboard there. It kind of like a light jazz sort of, a smooth jazz sort of feeling.
Oh boy, this just makes me. This makes me think of the Glenn Hughes Christmas album cover.
Totally, and the album itself.
Just how he looks, just how he the picture of him. Like, oh, all right, so you're gonna take a picture? Yeah, we got it. See you later.
He's zipping up his bag. I'm out of here. The job's done.
You know what? I don't remember this song.
You don't remember this one?
No, knowing me, I probably was just like, man, sounds new. I don't like it. And then I just wouldn't listen.
That does sound like you. took it a little deeper.
I mean, it's not bad.
I mean, it sounds like a demo.
Yeah, he's singing. Yeah, singing a little lower.
And this is probably like so this is probably, you've got Glenn Hughes's solo albums, you've got Play Me Out in 1977, and then he does that LA Blues Authority album in 92, and there's nothing in between there other than, you know, Hughes Thrall, his stint with Black Sabbath. He famously says, I don't even remember the 80s. So you've got him now kind of coming back into the studio for sort of the first time in a while. He did the LA Blues Authority, was like 92. And then he goes on a tear, 94, 95, 96, 99. He's releasing albums all over the place up until present day. So it's almost like he returns to the studio. He's in his home studio. He's like, I'm going to bang out a couple of little quick demos and start getting really back into this. It's funny this is 94 because it sounds like it could be earlier.
Yeah, like 87.
Yeah.
It does. It sounds mid 80s, especially with that horn patch. You know, it sounds like that smooth jazz shit that, like, you know, exactly. That when I was a kid, I was just like, oh, that's my parents' music. That's old people music. You know, that's like that slick, you know, fake jazz or whatever.
NEG sort of stuff.
Yeah. Poor Kenny G. It was like, yeah, you know that crap? Yeah, like Kenny G? Yeah, that. He probably has a lot of good stuff, too. I don't know.
He's a heck of a player. He did that, like, he set the Guinness Book of World Record for, like, he held a note for, like, over an hour.
Jesus.
Circular breathing, man.
I don't think I'd have the attention span to do that. I'd be like, all right, I've had enough.
I remember him saying, like, that he was like really nervous going into it. Like, it's like, of all the things he's played in his career, and he was like nervous about this one note because it was going for the Guinness Book of World Records. But you gotta, you know, circular breathing, you're breathing in through your nose and you're just pushing the air out through your mouth, like using the muscles of your cheeks, and you're continuing to breathe in through your nose. You can hold a note for that long. Most people don't hold it for quite that long, but it's a jazz technique or a wind instrument technique, I should say. So it is pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know that I'd want to sit there for the whole hour and listen. Oh wow, Kenny, he's still going on that one note. All right, so what do you think of whatever the song is called? Take Me With You. There we go.
I give it a 3.
Take me with you.
I mean, he's got some good vocals in here. I mean, it's obviously demo quality. I mean, nothing really special or too catchy or anything, but I mean, it's all right.
Fair enough. I would say the same. I give it a 3. Yeah, would like to hear it more fleshed out. But anyway, that takes us to our final track of the bonus tracks here. This song is called She Knows. Yeah, this is like,
oh my God, this is like so... Maybe Hughes was making up for his like lost time in the 80s.
He's like, oh man, I gotta bang out a couple 80s tracks to make up for what I should have done. Sounds like late 80s or
let me just work through this, and then I'll get up to the present day.
Every classic.
Oh yeah.
Keyboard patch you can imagine. He just crams them all in here. Classic 80s pre-chorus right here. This song could have been a hit easily. It needs a little.
The song could have been rolling. I don't know. This could have been rolling over the end credits for like Short Circuit 3 or something, you know?
I think with a little, like with the right the right producer to just kind of harness this a little. This is just him messing around as a home studio.
Yeah, I mean it's very inspired by a period of music. It's very derivative.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. I mean, it's like I like songs like this.
Great pre-chorus, great chorus. Builds that little tension coming up here to the chorus.
Coming soon to theaters near you, Mannequin 2.
They did Mannequin 2, didn't they?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like songs that this could have been. Movies this song could have been in. Well, I already said Short Circuit 3. Mannequin 3?
Yeah.
Coming soon to a theater near you, Perfect Strangers, the movie, the motion picture.
Perfect Strangers, the motion picture. Now, the one thing a producer would have told him with this song is it doesn't need to be 5 minutes long. He's a little off the rails here. He goes back, digs up that pre-chorus again, which I'm liking. Letting it all out.
You know what? It's like a Phil Collins type of thing.
Yeah, this could definitely be either Phil Collins solo or Genesis from the 80s.
Huh? Hughes Collins.
Yeah.
that would have been a matchup.
I'm also hearing like Mickey, don't lose that number. Like I'm hearing that like in the melody.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be a great. He should have like given the song to Phil Collins. Be like, here you go. If he had given it to Phil Collins and Phil Collins had taken it to his producers, instant number one hit in 1986. Of course, he probably hadn't written it yet, so that would have been a problem. But. a slight flaw in my plan. But
well, you have to go back to the future, and then speaking of the 80s, you get in the DeLorean and just like
exactly. She knows.
Phil, you got to do something about your album.
The Glenn Hughes track. The production is terrible.
Christopher Lloyd. He could have been like, in that movie, he could have been like 40 or 80. You can't tell.
That's the big joke in the movie. He goes like, he peels off the face. You know, and in like the Black Back to the Future 2, he peels off his face. He had like a fake mask on because he didn't want to disturb Marty with how much he had, because he had gotten all this age reducing stuff, and he said he had all this prosthetics on so he wouldn't startle him with how he looked, and he peels off the mask and he looks exactly the same.
He's like, I forgot about
that. I didn't want to startle you. He rips it off. He's like, how do I look? He's like, great, Doc. So she knows.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Oh.
She knows. Well, she knows she's getting a 3, so maybe she didn't know. I don't know.
She knows. She meaning everyone listening to this episode right now.
Yeah, she, as in the greater she. The big she. Yeah, I mean, it was a pleasant song. Like I said, it was I liked it. Like I said, it was derivative, reminiscent, sounded like other stuff. It was a cool demo. I liked it. So I give it a strong 3.
A strong 3
for being cool.
I'm gonna give it a strong 3 as well, known as a 3.5. I can't in good conscience give it a 4. But I really think there's like a lot of positive stuff there. Like I think he really could have done something with the song. And I like it. To me, it was always a weird ending to this album after you listen to all the stuff leading up to this and then just have this like weird, like you said, I think you nailed it with the Phil Collins thing. It just sounds like a total Phil Collins song. But yeah, I always thought it was kind of a weird ending to the album, but I really, really enjoyed the song and listening to it. So all right, that's a 3.5 to wrap it up on my end. I don't know.
Great. So now, since they're bonus tracks, I don't really feel like we have to see where they rank in the rankings of our Deep Purple albums, our podcast albums, do we?
Nah, I mean, it doesn't sound fair.
Because I mean, it's 5 tracks, so I mean, I don't think it really matters.
But it's fun to rank them anyway. But
so
yeah, I don't think we need to see where it stacks up. Although, just for fun, we can say that you can say what we gave it as numbers.
All right, so let's take a look here. Play me out bonus tracks. So we gave it a combined 7.5. So our variance was small, so we did not vary too much. I liked it a teensy bit better than you. It's probably because of that 5 that I gave.
Yeah, that 5 that distorted everything. Nothing has meaning anymore after that 5. Nothing in life.
Get out of here. Nothing in life. Oh boy. I feel it. I feel that the listeners are going to come. They're going to come for me. One in particular.
John at deeppurplepodcast.com.
Oh no, Rich is going to text me about this.
Oh yeah. And if you're Rich, you know how to get a hold of him. Just directly. Just don't include.
Come on,
me.
I thought you would know.
Oh, I know.
I thought you would know. I said, I know the listener who's going to come for me.
Oh yeah.
And be like, I can't be friends with you now.
No.
Although I don't know, he might surprise me and be like, it's very catchy.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's what's going to happen at all.
No. I think I'm going to get mercilessly dragged.
Yeah. And the same the listeners who have been warning me that, John needs to have some more heavy stuff. So the world is upside down right now.
I know what's happening. But just for fun, which it is kind of interesting that the Play Me Out bonus tracks in the greater scheme of our Deep Purple albums ranks between Teaser and James Gang Bang. So Hughes falls between 2 Tommy Bolin
sandwiched by
albums.
2 Tommy
now,
Bolin.
Coincidence? Hughes and Bolin? I think not. I think that is not a coincidence. No. I think that is some kind of divine intervention.
This is all rigged. Everything's rigged.
You sounded so disgusted. You're like, it's all rigged.
It's rigged. These scores are rigged. We meet.
Oh, actually, a couple above it is
about how we can have this happen.
Actually, this is really weird because like one below that is. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I missed it. It was John Lord. I thought it was Whitesnake, but then above it is Coverdale Page. So I'm just like, you basically have like a lot of like Mark 3 and 4 surrounding this. You know,
you
which
Coverdale, Bolin, Hughes,
kind of interesting.
Bolin, Lord, Coverdale.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah. So kind
John
of
did rank.
That's
John did
cool.
rank this album lower than Who Do We Think We Are, or higher, I should say. I'm sorry. So the bonus tracks on Play Me Out are ranked higher than Who Do We Think We Are. A lot of people probably agree with you on that.
Thanks to me. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not as many as we think. You know, maybe that deserves a redemption or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. That's how the rankings hold up. It is what it is. It's our story. We're sticking to it, and that's all we got. We'll take some time right now to thank our foundation level patrons. Coming in at the $1 made up name tier: Els Murders, Spacey Noodles, The Poorly Sealed Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, The Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Rafcaf, Spike the Rock Cat, JJ Stenard, Hank the Tank, and Flight of the Rat Bat Blue Light. Thank you for all of you supporting the Deep Purple podcast. We really appreciate it. Just a couple quick little things from the liner notes of the special release of this. John Lord says, the amazing thing about Glenn Hughes was that whatever bad state of health he was in through his addiction, his voice was always brilliant. He always felt he could have fronted Purple, and I think he set out on Play Me Out to show the rest of us what he could do. I always think it was also the way he wanted Purple to go after we'd recorded Come Taste the Band. Then
it would have been interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Dragon people have enough things to say about Come Taste the Band. Imagine if they had kind of given the reins to Glenn Hughes. I mean, imagine if he was
Jeez.
in a better state of mind, that if, like, you know, Tommy Bolin kind of came in and owned the whole band for that album. What if Hughes was more with it and could have contributed more songwriting, and, you know, where would it have, how far into this direction would it have gone before things fell apart? It was very interesting to think about.
It would have been damn funky.
Sure would have. And with that, folks, we are damn funky, and we're damn done for a shorter episode for you as promised. We'll be back at you next week with a full album review. But for now, that's all we got. So, Johnny, anything else to say before we quit?
I wasn't paying attention. Do you thank the core level patrons?
I did, yep.
Okay.
So anticlimactic here. But you, he loves you, core level patrons.
Well, what?
You know, the other day,
I was
when we did the Whoosh episode, we wrapped up, and it was a couple days later, and I had edited the episode, and I was at work, and I was like, oh my God, I never thanked the core level patrons. And I was thinking about it, and I'd done so much work editing the video and editing the episode, like way more work than a normal episode. And I was like, oh God, I was like, maybe we'll tack something on, I'll forget. And then the episode came out, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did thank them. So, because I felt really bad. Like, I was like, oh, maybe I'll give them a second thank you in the next episode. And turns out I actually remembered. So that's one of these days I'm not going to, but
turns out you had
that day's not today.
So much work to do that you forgot that you already did something.
Exactly. The way it should always be.
All right. Well, I don't know. Hey, I'm on the lookout. I'm on the lookout for you, core level patrons. See, I just wanted to make sure that Nate wasn't going to forget about you, like you almost did one time, and I.
Yeah, John
and
saved
I
the day.
Made sure you remembered.
And John, a couple of weeks ago, I thought I had not thanked them when I did, and this week you thought I didn't thank them when I did, and I'm just glad they're thanked because they're wonderful people for supporting the show. All right, John. Next week, see you again for a full album review.
All right. Booyah.
Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.